Look around, you've built this incredibly expensive life, and now you're stuck fitting it. You can't pause, and you definitely can't walk away. Here is the brutal plot twist about adult life that nobody wants to admit out loud. Let's stop pretending that making more money is going to fix the weight in your chest. It won't. When you're trapped in the survival grind, you tell yourself a massive lie. If I can just double my income, I'll finally be allowed to breathe. But then you actually do it. You put in the sleepless nights, you break your back, and you finally hit the numbers you used to pray for. And that is the exact moment everything gets worse. Because you realize that money doesn't cure your trauma, it just funds it. The fear doesn't disappear, it just upgrades. Sure, you stop stressing over the price of groceries, but now you're terrified of losing the lifestyle you just built. Your anxiety didn't turn off, it just mutated. Now you're trapped in a prison you built yourself. You're forced to keep up with the expensive illusion of safety. Now you have to sell your life hour by hour to a job you hate and people you don't care about. The most brutal part of growing up is realizing there is no finish line. There is no magical bank balance where everything clears up and you finally feel safe.
I do not have the money to spare.
No one has ever been richer than you are at this moment. What would it take for you to feel secure?
More.
The system was literally built to keep you unstable. Desperate, anxious people keep buying things, keep competing, and keep running on a treadmill. You can solve this stress with a higher salary. This stress is just the price of admission. And that's where you really get trapped. You think if you just keep running, you can outrun your panic. You think that a bigger bank account will finally make you feel safe. But it won't, because you aren't actually fighting the numbers on your screen anymore. You're fighting how your brain got wired just to survive. There is this twisted thing about human biology. Your nervous system stays stuck in the poorest you have ever been. If you grow up watching your mom cry at the kitchen table over the past due notice, or if you ever had your card declined when you try to buy basic groceries, that stays with you. Your brain doesn't just forget that panic when you start making decent money, it embeds it in your DNA. Fast forward 10 years. You actually made it out. You got the job, you got the nice apartment, and you can buy anything you want without checking your balance. On paper, you won, but inside your head you're still waiting for the floor to collapse. You can't enjoy it because you can't turn off the panic. Every time you pay for something, your stomach drops. It doesn't matter if you're buying a coffee or paying rent, and it doesn't matter how much money you have left. Your body panics anyway. You check your bank app, you see the green numbers, and you tell yourself you're safe. But you don't feel safe. You feel like that broke kid who can't pay for groceries. You aren't actually reacting to your current reality, you're reacting to an old trauma that you never got over. You think that earning more will finally make that fear stop? It won't. You can't use a higher salary to fix a broken nervous system. So you keep just paying the price, desperate to keep that old anxiety from catching up to you. You tell yourself all this exhaustion is worth it because the money is supposed to buy your freedom. But look at the life you actually built. You didn't buy freedom, you bought a terrifying level of dependency. Here is the real trap of making more money. As your income goes up, your basic ability to survive completely dies. Think back to when you were totally broke. You actually knew how to survive. You stretch a $20 grocery bill for a week. You fixed your own leaky pipes with a YouTube video, and you drove a car that rattled every time you hit 40. If something broke, you rolled up your sleeves and you figured it out. But the second you started making real money, you stopped handling your own life. You stopped paying people to do it for you. Now you DoorDash a single burrito because you're tired to boil a pasta. You hire professionals to change a light bulb or hang a shelf. You traded your self-reliance for convenience, and now you can't even get through a Tuesday without spending $50. You didn't actually solve the problems, you just started paying a lot more to have them. The panic never leaves you because you know the truth. If the cash stops for even a month, you wouldn't know how to survive anymore. You are trapped in an expensive setup you can't afford to walk away from, completely terrified of what happens when the money dries up. And that's how they get you. You buy into this lifestyle, the bills stack up, and suddenly you're stuck on a treadmill you can't turn off. You can't take a month off to breathe, you can't quit, and you can't walk away. Cut through all the corporate BS and fancy job titles. Your paycheck isn't funding your dream life, it's just the price they pay you so you can be compliant and in your seat. When you're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. in the morning, the panic isn't about budgeting. It's about you being a hostage. You know exactly what it costs to keep up appearances. It costs 10 hours of your life every single day, handed over to a company that will replace you by Monday if you drop that over the weekend. That's why you're always exhausted. You know that everything you've built could fall apart in a second.
It's a problem of motivation, all right? Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation?
You aren't waking up motivated to build some amazing future. You're just dragging yourself to a laptop to pay a monthly subscription on your own life. You traded your freedom to buy a little comfort, and now you're realizing how expensive that comfort really is. So you keep sprinting, you burn yourself out, clean into this idea that you're actually running towards something. You tell yourself if you'll just hit that one number in your bank account, the pressure will drop and you'll finally be allowed to breathe. But you need to stop waiting for the finish line. There isn't one. There is no magical day where you check your phone, you see the numbers turn green, and you feel safe. The whole game was designed to keep you on edge because anxious people buy things. If you ever felt content, you'd stop spending money to fill the void. The worst part about growing up is realizing that financial stress isn't a flaw in the design. It is the design. But the second you accept that, everything changes. You stop expecting money to give you peace of mind. It can't do that. You stop treating a paycheck like a savior. Instead, you start using it for the only thing it's actually good for, buying options. The pressure isn't going away. The panic won't magically vanish. You just stop letting it break you, and you get strong enough to carry it. Because at the end of the day, true freedom isn't about having a bank account so big that the world can't touch you. That's an illusion. True freedom is looking at the mess, looking at the bills, and realizing they don't own you anymore. Thanks for hitting subscribe. No fluff, no corporate BS, and no fake promises. Just honest, unfiltered deep dives into the psychological traps we all fall into and how to break out of them. Welcome to the inside.